sustainability is more than just a buzzword. In industry, it has become a catch-all for all kinds of efforts across the supply chain, from improving efficiencies to choosing better source materials. Among consumers, it has become a lifestyle shift, impacting decision-making and buying behavior. Whether that's cutting down on single-use plastics or shopping with brands that have sustainable values, consumers today are increasingly voting with their dollars where possible. As a brand, you may have invested heavily into products and practices that help make the world a better place. But how do you let consumers know about these efforts? Can a product announce itself as sustainable, or is it all up to marketing to educate consumers? Further, can a business working to move towards a more circular economy not just offer a more sustainable solution, but also encourage a more sustainable behavior from their customers? Here to talk more about connected products, consumer engagement, and sustainability beyond the buzzwords is Vimal Shukla, SVP of Global Sales and Customer Success at Smart Cosmos, and John Grant from Pure Hydration, the makers of Ice Bottle. So John and Vimal, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on the call.
So John, we'll start with you. For those who don't know, tell us about Pure Hydration and your signature product, Ice Bottle. I hear you're set on ending single-use plastics.
Well, we are, but it started a long time ago, really. In 1993, which seems like an awful long time ago now, we started a company called Thirst Point, and that company really set about to remove those large plastic bottles you remember seeing in offices on top of coolers back in that time. That's what we set about doing. And in doing that, we were obviously removing those large bottles. We were, they were 19 liters or 4 gallons in American, Canadian terms. We were stopping trucks, delivering tons of water to buildings all over London and cities in the UK. We were stopping accidents in offices where people were lifting up those bottles and trying to put them onto coolers. We were saving millions of square meters of office space in buildings all over the UK, which really was a new thing back in those days. It sounds silly now to say it, but back in 1993, nobody was doing that. Nobody was using technology to solve those kind of problems. And it was largely plastic saving right the way back there as well. Until we sold that business successfully in 2008 to a big UK PLC company. But as part of that journey, we had already started to design and think about manufacturing products, handheld products that would purify water or improve water, which again was a very new thing back in those days. It seems a bit silly now because there are a number of products on the market, but back in those days there weren't really any. We actually designed and manufactured products for the outdoor world, military, disaster aid. In fact, our first aid products have been involved in the last 10 major world disasters, including Puerto Rico, where we shipped out thousands and thousands of products down there. So during that early development, I was told by the professors that worked in our company that we would never get to the point where we could purify water to a standard that was safe to drink by removing bacteria and viruses sufficiently to have a product that was safe. So well after 2 years of long nights and early mornings, we actually got there. And fast forward to today, we are now using that military grade technology in our ice cap, which fits on top of our ice bottle. So we have 2 products there really, the ice bottle, which is the excellent carrier, and the ice cap that does water purification.
Fantastic. And Vimal, tell me about Smart Cosmos.
Yeah, Smart Cosmos was founded in 2014, so it's not a very long time, but significantly good amount of time for software companies. We were part of SmartTrack earlier, which was a leading digital RFID provider, and we were the software arm of SmartTrack. And we have been focused on building a software platform for providing a complete end-to-end digital IoT solutions to help our customers execute an end-to-end digital strategy using their products and assets as their platform. Our tagline is making physical things digital. So, what it means is that we provide a unique and secure digital identity to the products, in this case, the ice bottle. And now the unique identity can be used to not only track the product right from their point of manufacture all the way through to the end consumer, but more importantly, and this is where John and I have been actively engaged in as well, is to ensure that John is now able to engage and interact with the consumers. And how do they do that? They basically use their smartphones to tap their ice bottles that they are using. And now you have a unique identification of the product and associated with the consumers. So what it does for John in this case is that it transforms the product. It's a physical product, but now he is now getting an engaged customer, and consumers are getting a unique digital experiences, and John can control those kind of experiences. I'll go into more details later on as we discuss about this product, but basically, in short, we provide the highest level of visibility provided to the consumers and transparency to the customers in this case, right through the supply chain across all channels, point of sale, point of use, whatever you want to call it. So our product does that.
Okay, and so bring this all home for me. You've talked a little bit about how you two work together. How does Blue Bite fit into the picture?
Yes. So in this case, when I talk about the product, providing a unique identity. So that's the part Smart Cosmos does, where we are able to associate the product and providing it a unique identity and storing the unique identity into our platform. And we use that for track and trace and other things. But when it comes to experiences after the sale, that's where Blue Bite platform comes into play. So we interact and utilize Blue Bite's platform to provide the unique experiences and create the experiences as well as provide the experiences through the Smart Cosmos platform.
Great. And John, you talked about what makes Ice Bottle unique, both in terms of the physical bottle, and you've alluded a little bit to the impact that it has now that you're able to engage with the consumers. I'm hoping you can elaborate on that.
Well, look, yeah, Vimal touched on it. We're living in an age now where virtually every adult has a smartphone. Our big idea was to make our physical product digital, like Vimal was just mentioned, for a number of reasons. Firstly, to build a community of like-minded people with whom we could communicate via our products. In doing this, building loyalty and sharing information about the things that they care about. The environment, the issues to do with the environment, news, health and wellness, and other information, all by simply tapping their smartphone on the bottom of their bottle, which I still think every single time I do it, I'm still quite amazed at what we see when that happens. This brilliant technology, is provided by these two companies, who support us by, as Vimal said, by helping us bring those experiences to life. We, as part of this product area that we have, we can exactly track how many plastic bottles our customers are saving. So by them simply not using a plastic bottle for getting some drinking water, using our products, tap on the bottom, they can then say, I've saved one more bottle. So we can see around the world who's saving plastic bottles in what country, what area, and we can then communicate with them to help do more of this, because we're working with people like Formula One, whose staff have these bottles, and they're looking at how many bottles their staff can save in their offices. We work in collaboration with the WWF UK, who can track how many plastic bottles their customers are saving. And what we do is we can aggregate all of these clocks, as we call them, from all of the customers that we have, and have a world picture of where and how many plastic containers being saved, which we think is important, we think is powerful. In today's business is we're all really motivated by the Internet of Things, and the prospects of increasing revenue that we can do more readily by understanding and harnessing the data we're gathering from our customers. And we feel we can hopefully realize a significant competitive edge in the future by doing this, and by understanding the patterns of behavior of our customers, offering them personalized offers, personalized pricing, and that kind of thing. So, and obviously something that Vimal mentioned, the registration and brand authentication of the product is very important to us, because some of our customers are real premier manufacturers and brand owners, and they need to make sure that their customers are getting the official ice bottle brand, and it's probably going to have their logo on it too. So it's a very, very important part of our product.
Absolutely. So, sustainability is such a hot topic right now, and a lot of brands are diving in and, talking about sustainability, but not actually quantifying it as you are. So how does a brand, in either of your opinions, avoid this greenwashing and actually use technology to make sustainable impact?
Look, sustainability is an overused and abused word. You said it yourself, greenwashing. Everyone's doing it, everyone's saying it. I think generally people really want to do a good job of it, but they just don't know how to do it. It's everybody means well about recycling, but it's a difficult business. If I could just give you a couple of examples. In our own home, our daughter will take a plastic milk container we've bought from a supermarket, and she'll wash it out, and then she'll put the lid back on and put it into the recycling trash. Well, the problem with that is now you have two types of plastic in there, which is very, very difficult for recyclers to handle. So actually the reality of that is it probably won't get recycled. Why? Because it's too expensive to remove that lid off there and then put it into separate bins. It just doesn't happen because there's no value in that plastic. LDPE is a very cheap plastic. There's no value to it. There's no on life to it particularly. So it just doesn't get done. One more example, which is probably really to the point, which is we actually recycle some of our stainless steel from time to time in our manufacturing process. We do make scrap. We sort out a recycling company to do this. So we use the highest possible quality stainless steel. It's surgical stainless steel actually in our process. And we took it to a recycling center, and they did a test on it and said, this isn't stainless steel. And we said, well, it definitely is. And by the way, you are using the wrong test to determine whether it's stainless steel. You need to be using this test. And they didn't do it. And we couldn't take our very, very valuable stainless steel to this recycler. We had to go and find another recycling company that were much more professional, that then took our stainless steel and recycle it. We want to make it into things like knives and forks, cutlery, or surgical instruments, or something of that nature that's really useful as a second life. But so even when you want to recycle things, it's very, very difficult. It's not as easy as people imagine. So what we say at our company is that we're not saying no to recycling. Of course, it's a very worthwhile thing to do, but what we should really do is start to stop using plastics that we don't need to use, like water bottles. They can use our products to manufacture their own drinking water very conveniently, very cheaply, and not have the environmental impact.
Right.
Yeah,
it's just add.
Of course, yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I can just add, I mean, from a consumer perspective, I mean, when I've talked to others, the best thing that has happened using our technology is that we can now see and count how many water bottles I have saved, because every time I refill my bottle, now the count goes up by one. And then at the end of the day or at the end of the month, I can say, like, yes, I actually saved this many number of plastic bottles going into the ocean. Now, that's a big thing for me as a person. If sustainability is something I want to really talk about, I can quantify now and say, actually, I saved this many number of plastic bottles going into the ocean this particular month. And that's a big thing. Now I can actually boast about it if I want to, right? And that's my contribution, now that I can quantify my experience using the technology platform and the cool features that we have to as per the end consumers. Sorry, please.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, that's great. John, did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, to Vimal, that's exactly, you are exactly the customer that we're after, Vimal, because you've just articulated that you like doing that, and you are the like-minded people we are trying to get in our community, and that's what Smart Cosmos is helping us to do, is to build this community.
Yeah, and quantify the results. Yes.
Yeah.
And what about the customer that is still using plastic bottles? I mean, there are people that are more environmentally conscious, but at some point, doesn't it just become more cost effective to use an ice bottle than keep buying cases and cases of plastic water?
Absolutely right. I mean, we've done all the sums. I think with one of our ice caps, I think each filter lasts for around about 200 liters. So that's 400 refills of one of the ice bottles, which is 500 ml. So that's around about 2.5 liters per day for 3 months. Now, we do come across a lot of healthy people in our business, and very, very few drink more than 2.5 liters per day every single day for 90 days. So there's plenty of capacity in our filters to deliver that water for that period of time, and of course it saves a fortune. I mean, I don't know what it is in Canada. It's all the same, actually, all the same kind of pricing in many countries, which is, it can range from anywhere from 50 pence or 50 cents to $1 or $2, $3 sometimes at train stations and places like airports and places like that. So yeah, you can actually save a fortune.
Yeah, absolutely. So Vimal, you work with companies like Ice Bottle to be more than just a vendor, but actually a strategic partner in helping them realize their goals. I was hoping you could provide your opinion on how connected products help clients like Ice Bottle realize their vision for a more sustainable future.
Yeah, no, in fact, and John and I have been working for almost close to 2 years now. And in fact, he is my marquee customer. In fact, I joined Smart Cosmos exactly 2 years and 2 months. And he was my first big customer that I came along, and I liked working with him, not only for the reason that he's using our platform, but also, I'm doing something for the environment and working with him for helping him improve his business as well, right? So for example, he talked about Formula One, and there are other marquee customers as well. WWF is also another one. So the way we work together is, John has a potential customer. We then work with him to create some kind of unique experiences. So we have some brainstorming sessions on what kind of unique experiences we can build for that particular brand, that the end consumers of that brand would actually like to use their products more and more, right? So in this case now, the reason I like to work with John in this is not only the wonderful, cool ideas on the branding itself, but also to ensure that whatever experiences in this case we are going to be building for WWF or Formula One, we are now able to use Blue Byte's platform and Smart Cosmos platform to actually convert those kind of experiences into a thing that you can actually see using your cell phone. So for example, for WWF, we were talking about helping if people are going on hiking, then trying to figure out where the nearest source of water would be, right? So now we have an experience that's built in, that's linked into a mapping feature where you can now see where you can refill your bottle, because Ice Bottle has a very unique filter. You can filter the water from whatever the source is up to 99.9%. And John, correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's what I heard. So now
it's 99.9999%.
Okay, 99%. So now identifying those water sources while you're hiking and making sure that the consumers see that on their cell phone through the experience that Ice Bottle brings to the table is something we built together, right? So and those kind of features definitely helps. I mean, the other one could be, we talked about was the rewards. If you're saving 10 plastic bottles, then you probably get some gold star from WWF or some kind of incentive for them to showcase to the world that they're contributing, right? So those kind of ideas and some new things that we are trying to build together, and that's how Smart Cosmos, Blue Byte, and Ice Bottle, we are working together to bring those ideas and make sure people can see that when they tap the product using their cell phones.
Yeah, so it's really gamifying the process of sustainability and getting the consumer involved. I love that. So
Exactly.
when there's two products on the shelf, often consumers only have the packaging to be able to tell them apart. In both of your opinions, I'd love to know, how does technology enable brands to better tell their sustainability stories? John, we'll start with you.
I'm so glad you came to me first. Because we've actually been looking at our packaging recently. First and foremost, we use FSC board for all of our packaging. We have done since the start of our business. So it's sustainably farmed trees. It's registered, so there's no getting around it, which is great. But that in itself doesn't do really anything to help us sell the product or to educate the people about it. We've actually been looking at using QR codes that we're talking to Smart Cosmos about, to actually launch the experience to show people what the products can do for them. And such like. We've also looked at cleaning instructions and ownership instructions and other things that they can do. So I think that smart packaging has a huge part to play going forward, because to be honest, if you have one bottle on a shelf and another one next to it's we use better quality steel, there's other things we do, but a consumer's not going to know that, particularly with a minute or two there in front of it. We've got to tell them more very, very quickly in an interesting way. So I think it is a very important point you bring up, and we are definitely going to be doing a whole lot more on smart packaging.
Yeah, there's only so much real estate on the package itself, right? So if you have something like a QR code, then you can extend the story. It's interesting to me how QR codes have sort of had their moment in the limelight because of the pandemic, with all of this, contactless commerce that we're seeing.
Yeah, it's interesting for me, because I travel to the Far East an awful lot. Well, obviously not for the last 15 months. I haven't been anywhere, but normally probably once a month, every 5 weeks, I'll be out in the far, probably mostly China and Taiwan. And when QR codes came to our knowledge 5, 6, 7 years ago, they came in, and everyone in America and the UK and Europe just didn't really see any value in it. But in China, the whole country runs on QR codes. You buy your shopping by a QR code. You buy train ticket. The whole country runs on QR. And I couldn't really square that circle when I was there, thinking, why are they doing all this? And they're not even used in the UK. And I think now we see, don't we, that we're having a renaissance of QR codes, and it will be like China. They will run everything.
Yeah, absolutely. They've replaced menus, instructions, check-ins, everything like that. So Vimal, I'd love to hear from you, both about QR codes, but then also about how technology enables brands to tell their sustainability stories.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was Father's Day, and we went out for lunch, and at the table you had a QR code, and you have to tap. You tap here for breakfast, tap here for dinner, and tap here for lunch menu, right? I mean,
yeah.
So cool is it now? You can easily use your cell phones for getting all those meaningful digital interactions, and then you can do whatever it is. It's not only uses paper, that's what being used, or plastic, in this case as well. You are making it environmentally friendly, but you are able to provide the latest menu items available, right? So you can provide more information as well. So if the user wants to know more about a particular item, then you can click that as well, and then the chef can actually provide, in this case, more information, right? So I mean, the technology platform to me is the key. I mean, yes, packaging is good, that John talked about. I think that's unique as well, but there's so much we can do from the digital interactions, either through QR code or RFID tags, and even barcode, right? So we can now customize experiences if we want to for every consumer. So we talked about, using the ice bottles for hiking, finding the water sources nearby. Now, if that information is available to John, and John now comes to know that this person is trying to go to Canada, for example, and let's say Toronto, right? So now we can show him, the possible hiking places, and that interaction between ice bottle and the consumer gets more and more strengthened as they start to see what more features and functionalities are being available through the technology, right? And now the word starts spreading in through social media and others that, Yes, the bottles may look the same on the shelf, but now with this bottle, you can do much more. And it's not just one time, you will actually start to get more and more and more as you use it more. And social media could be the thing. So digital platforms and strategies are the key for spreading awareness, as well as for making sure people are using the technology more and more.
Yeah, and also finding out how they're using it, maybe in unexpected ways. I always find that interesting when a technology is built for a certain way and you actually look at the data and see that it's being used in a different way, and then you can pivot your strategy. So how can people follow you both and stay in touch?
Yeah.
Yep. They can go to our Instagram account, or we're obviously on the internet, purehydration.com. They can follow us there to see all of our products, see what we're doing, see our news. So basically, and we have a Facebook page also.
Right. Great. And Mal?
Yeah, same thing, smartcosmos.com. That has a lot of information about our product, but also we are on LinkedIn and all other social media sites. So we use Smart Cosmos as a tag handle for us to reach out to us.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this conversation, consider subscribing to The Future of Things on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever the best audio is found. I'm your host, Amanda Costco. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.